Okay, I've been working on 2 projects, and the last time I filmed the laser rifle, I believe my camera switched itself off and I did not realise for over 2 hours. So all that footage is gone, so I'm going to run you through what I did on a switched off camera. So I've started doing the brown. That's the first coat of dark brown over the black. Obviously I sprayed it black, the entire thing. I then sprayed it this nice sort of army green color, just the central area, the entire thing. So there's a lot of neatening up that needs done. For the time being, I'm just going to work on this. So we're going to build up the levels of brown. So from the dark brown, which I think was burnt umber, I'm going to work up to a red brown and some yellow ochre, which is what I do on most wood things that I'm working on. So I'm going to crack on with that now. I don't really need to do that on camera, so I'm going to do one slow pass for people who haven't seen my tutorials before, and then I'll probably speed it up so that you're not bored to tears. Sorry about the missed footage. I have my Nonna brain on, and yeah. Okay, I've tried to get a little bit of it on camera so that you can see the normal speed. New fluffy brush. Wee bit of paint on the brush, wipe it off the brush so that it's sort of covered but in a dry manner, and then we're just going to go across the grain slowly but surely over the entire thing, and we're going to do that over and over and over again until it's all brought up. To get around the edge, you might have to do that. Try not to go along the grain as much as possible though, and it should start to bring it up. We'll do it here so that you can see. There we go, hopefully you can see that. It's coming up a little bit. I will time lapse the next bit so that you're not completely bored, and we'll crack on with this before we start hitting the other detail. There we go, hopefully you saw that, the way that it layered up. I am going to do some more detail work, and then I'm going to tape off the main areas and spray the bits that need to be silver, which is actually most of it. That should really start to bring it up, make it pop a bit. I'm going to take it outside now and spray paint it with a little bit of chrome or silver, whichever one I've got. And then it will be time to dirty it all up. Okay, we're back. Done all the silver, now it's time to dirty it up a bit, and I'm going to do that in the same way that I usually do, which is some black acrylic mixed with some water, brush it on and wipe it off. You want it to have a watery consistency if you haven't done it before. Sorry, I know this video is a wee bit rushed now, but I need to get this ready for tomorrow. So it's just an old brush. I'm just using the one that I used for the brown. Some paper towel or kitchen roll. I just make a few small squares, and we're going to start slushing it on and wiping it off. I'm going to do these 2 parts first on either side so that you can see, and I'll probably speed the rest up. Just makes it look nice and grimy, and being fallout, most of it will look this way. Once I take the tape off, I'll do this all around the edges as well. It's quite time consuming, but it looks cool when it's done. Actually, I'm going to do this part next. Splash it around. It doesn't matter how messy you are, because as I say, being fallout, the whole thing would actually be really grimy, so don't worry too much. The longer you leave it on, the more it will stay there. So I like to wipe it off pretty quick, but if you want it really, really grimy, just leave it on there for longer. It will work a treat. And you can go over and over and over again, so you get multiple layers of the ink drying. I think we'll do this part next. You're just doing the edges because that's where the grime and grease and oil and whatever else would be sticking, where this really and the waists. It wouldn't be shiny and polished, it would be a mess. Some of the paint had an odd effect on the foam, despite the fact that I'd coated it also. I had sanded that so perfectly smooth, it was beautiful. It was like this. Now it's got little bumps and lumps, but again, being fallout, I'll accept that because it could be made of scrap metal, so it may well have those bumps and lumps. So we'll call that a bonus rather than, oh, that's a shame. But just something of note for you guys if you haven't used insulation foam before either. I was pretty bummed when I saw that it had done that, given all of the hours that I spent sanding this thing perfect. And then that was all lost. I'm always knocking stuff over in my tutorials. So clumsy, guys, and I use power tools. It's a bit terrifying, isn't it? I'm hoping you see how easy this is to get that cool dirty effect, by the way. So good. Okay, same with this bit. Splodge, splodge, wipe. Yes, I am using the stuff that I spilled because waste not, want not. And make sure you get all the gaps. Because as I say, it wouldn't be nice and shiny. I've probably got other things to worry about if this is your weapon of choice. Maybe be sitting there polishing it overnight. If you do this, by the way, and you've put too much black on and you're like, oh, I wish it was more silver, just dry brush it silver when you're done. Once you've got all your dirt on there, give it a light dry brush and it will bring up the edges again silver. But as I say, being the universe that this is from, it probably would be absolutely manky anyway. Sorry, I know I'm mostly off camera, but I need it close to me to be able to see. I'll show you in a sec. Ta-da! I'll probably go over this with a little dry brush, like I said. I do want it to look really, really grotty, but I don't want it to look like there's no metal there at all. So I'll probably do the edges up, get some silver on the brush and just tap the edges. It's hard trying to get this on camera because it's so huge. Even if I lifted the camera higher, it would still be difficult. You probably wouldn't see what I'm doing. As long as you get the gist of on, off. Wipe it on or wipe it off. Grotty enough? I think so. Okay. The weathering is done. You can see all that. It's looking pretty grimy. I'm going to untape it all now and then start doing the detailing on the grip, the battery, and of course the main barrels. And also adding the wire, which I plasti dipped yellow, so now it looks more like the yellow wire, but it is still that foam stuff with the wire in the center. You can see it there poking through. Okay, so just for transparency, the tape has taken a little tiny bits of paint off here and there. I'm just going to fix them with a small brush. Make sure that they're okay. Everything else is fine other than where it has leaked a little bit up here, but being fallout, we're just going to mess that up anyway, so should be cool. Gotta put the wire on, and of course the battery will be yellow to make that bit pop a bit. Just wanted to let you know about that in case it does it to yours and you're like, whoa, you should never mention that. It did. And we're back and we're about to do the grip. Taped it off. I'm going to use some raw umber, which is just brown. paint the entire thing. The reason I'm doing it in brown is I'm assuming it would be made of wood, since it appears to be a grip and not a pump. You wouldn't need a pump on a laser shotgun. That's the first pass of dark brown. Wait for that to dry. I'm going to do another pass, and then I'm going to just dry brush it with some probably burnt sienna. Just going to fix some of these little mistakes as well. I'm just going to paint these black. I'll have to do it on my lap so it's up close, so you won't be seeing me, but black paint. I'm just going to give it that. In fact, just these. I'm not going to do the battery because that's going to be yellow. Black, black. We're on the home stretch. Just got some detailing to do, starting with the grip that we did last night. I'm going to hit it with some burnt sienna just to bring out some of the detail. Maybe do this front part here metal because it looks like the other metal pieces. That's where we're starting today. To tie this more into the stock, I might do a little bit of yellow ochre as well. Just taped off the front bit, make it easier. If you're taking your time, probably won't even need to tape it. Okay, so next up I'm just working out where to put the tubing that we have. And it looks like it isn't going to fit inside the hole that I've actually melted into these, so I may just glue it to the outside because the clips and the fact that this is in here to some degree at the front, well, it should hold it on anyway. So once that's glued on there and it's clipped in, it's not going anywhere. And being a double barrel, there's going to be one on each side, which I think is going to set it off and look really cool. Other than that, the battery needs spray painted. You can see that I just hit it with whatever yellow I was using last night. That wasn't actually to paint it, that was just to set it apart so that I could see what I was doing. But yeah, I think that'll look cool once that's on. And on both sides, it's going to look wicked. I may look in my decal box and see if I've got any of the warning stickers to wrap around before I glue that on as well. It's coming along. It's actually looking pretty darn fallouty. I've brought the clips in. I'm just going to dry brush them with a bit of silver. They're the things that hold the wire on. And happenstance, I was looking for the decals, which I can't find, and I found my actual yellow wire. So after checking what the foam looks like with the clip on, the one that I was originally using, because it's so thick, it's pinching it. I mean, it looks okay, but as with most things, if you go with the real deal, it looks better. So I've decided, now that I've found the yellow wire, I'm going to actually use the electrical wire, which means just padding up one bit of it with some foam so that it slots in nice and snug into the front section, this bit here, because at the moment it's just swinging around in there. The good thing is, of course, it will now fit into the hole that's melted on the other side. So there we go, that's a wee change. I'm just about to dry brush the clips so they look like they're made of metal. That's just a bit of silver acrylic, as with everything else that we've dry brushed. I do the bottom even though it'll be glued on, you won't see it. You can just do the tops if you want. There we go, that's the clips done. Just need to work out where they're going to go and grab some screws to pop in them to screw into the foam. They will be glued in as well. They won't just be screwed in. I'll be using some hot glue. I'm just going to thicken up the end. A bit of super glue. You could just glue it in, but it would be better to have it snug, so don't want to skimp on anything. Since someone's already buying this at a reduced rate because it is a tutorial, so it has been a little bit rushed. And also it's a test build, so I think he's getting a pretty good deal. Hopefully he thinks so as well. He seems pretty happy. There we go, just makes it a bit snug. Once it's hot glued in, it won't be moving anyway. And we're going to work out where to pin these. I think I'm still going to pin them in the same spot. It'll just be more smooth, it won't be as bent as this one. And then that will be glued in there. Just needs to be shortened. I'm glad I found the wire now. I think it'll look cool. You know what I may do? I may mark that and add an additional piece of foam as extra strength. Because the last thing I want is for that to pop out of there when the guy's using it for his awesome photo shoots. So that'll be some of this stuff. I'll just mark the wire and then glue this around and it will look like some kind of connector when it's done. And you see that, it's not actually in there that far anyway, so this should be good to strengthen that up. It's not as deep as I thought it was. There we go. Now when that's in there, that'll be glued to there also, and it will look just like an additional thing. We'll dirty that up. It's getting there. What I'm going to do next is tape this off and get it sprayed so it's nice and smooth. Remember, your millimeters around the edge can be slightly off because it'll be dirty. Fuel leakage and whatever else, so don't stress too much about that. You can see I've gone over there, but I know that it won't matter once we add some of the goop. I'm going to tape some paper on because the last thing we want at this stage is overspray, which we would cry about. And then you have to go back and fix it all and you're like, oh, why didn't I just take that extra couple of minutes? Okay, take it outside and spray it nice and bright yellow. Okay, that's that done. Time to dirty it up. You can see where it's bled over here, but as I said before, you don't need to worry about that. A little bit of black paint, a little bit of water. Just gonna do the other wire while that's drying. Okay, so usually when I make a fallout blaster, I use these flat-headed screws in the little connectors, but I've only got one left. So today we're using these little fat-headed screws, which will do the same thing, but they're a little bit more loose. Not that that'll matter when they're hot glued in, obviously. You can use any screws you've got. These little things, by the way, if I forgot to mention, are just little plastic electrical clips. You can get them in your hardware store, and when they're painted up to look like metal, they look like metal. You can use them in steampunk as well. You just do them in a brassy colour rather than silver. Perfect. Yeah, it gives us freedom to work out where these are going to go. So I think here and here. There we go, that's the battery done. Breaks it up nicely. from the rest of the barrels now, I think, once that's dry brushed with some metallic. Taking it out into the sun to get it to dry quicker. Okay, so I've gone through my decal bin and I've got less fallout decals than I thought I had, but I'm going to cut these ones out just to add a bit of bling. Hopefully you can see that. It's almost a perfect match color-wise. That was a great color. There we go. Wow. I think that's one of the most perfect matches paint color that I've ever used for fallout. Usually I have to mix it up and then dirty it up and it's a nightmare. That's fantastic. Look at that. I still can't believe the match. So good. Okay, I'm calling it done. I'm going to take some photos. They will appear after this video. Hopefully showing it off in better light than here. I've got LEDs, downlighters, and they're very, very bright. I think this is going to look wicked in that guy's photo shoots, I'm hoping. You'll certainly be the only person with one. Double barrel AER laser shotgun. Hope you've liked this build. As always, if you haven't subscribed, I would love you to subscribe. I know this tutorial is a wee bit wonky. That's because my camera turned off. I was nonnering, so I had my grandkids here, and a few other things made it a little bit bumpy. But I will be sure and write it up in full on my blog, and any questions that you've got, things that I missed out, just pop in the comments and I will get back to you. Give it a like if you found anything useful in here. If you use the idea, please give me credit. That would be awesome because I did think of it myself. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. I don't know why you'd hate it. I put many, many, many hours into it, even though it's been edited down probably to 20, 25 minutes. If you want to know how to build it, it's the video before this one. That's it. Another one done. Thanks so much for watching. Nerfenstein out.